Welcome everyone to Division 2 East. This is the final round of the season, and this is our final goodbye to Season 10 of Formula Roblox. Qualifying has begun, 7 minutes to go as drivers have begun their laps, now crossing the second sector. And what I have to say is that the championship in terms of the drivers is over. Quattro's won this championship and he's about to retire next season, so it has been a well-fared tour for him. Quattros, who is here today, so we're gonna see his last race. Gonna have to say goodbye to him for the time being. Behind him in the standings is Iambov and Amogus Imposter. These two are closer together, so we might see a fight for the P2 position in the championship. This is the last round, so everything is up for grabs behind them. Devil Hunter and Brody James, Constinct and Roti Sushi are all neck and neck. So we're sure to see some position changing after the race. In the Constructors, Swift GP has a 40-point lead over the Orleo Contagious Racing. And mathematically it is possible for Contagious Racing to win, but they're gonna need a miracle. So it's looking like the Constructors' Championship is settled, or at least it will be at the end of the race. Flakers GP is in third, TMP Motorsport in fourth, FX Imperium and Prawi Racing and Funny Group Racing are all very close on points, so there is a massive fight for the P4 in the championship. These teams separated by 8 points into the final round. We're gonna have to see which team can close it out and get that P4 position. Devil Hunter starts out strong, getting a 134.1 on provisional pole. Sora Pro in second, 1.5 tenths behind, and then a big gap to third of half a second to Brody James. Baduct and NXX is the only other drivers who have set a lap so far. Now Glitzy Glow and How Are You Gamer Pro are the ones about to finish their lap, so we are gonna have to see where they end up in the standings. Both into the final sector. Gamer Pro gets a solid chicane with Glitzy Glow ahead of him. They're gonna cross the line almost simultaneously as Glitzy Glow makes a little bit of a mistake into the final corner, but survives past the corner cuts and he ends up in 5th place. Gamer Pro improves and goes up to third, 3 tenths from Devil Hunter. Yoto, the only other driver, currently close to setting a lap. Simply Heron as well, has abandoned his. And now Yoto comes to the line. He's going to go up to P6 ahead of Glitzy Glow and behind his teammate Baduct. Now Brody James starting out strong with a purple first sector. He is 6.5 tenths behind, but he looks like to be challenging for pole position. Green second sector. Let's see if he can gain the time needed to overtake Devil Hunter. Devil Hunter's time is definitely not bad, so Brody James will need a good final sector here. Around the final few corners, into the main straight he goes, a little wide, but you can afford that in this track. That corner is very lenient on the track limits, and he goes up to pole with a 133.6. A beautiful lap by Brody James, ahead of the pack by 4 tenths of a second. Devil Hunter with 2 green sectors right behind him, can he challenge? He improves his lap time, but is still 2.5 tenths behind. So a big gap between first and second, and then second to third. With 2 minutes to go, I'm not sure drivers are gonna improve by much. They are gonna get one more lap at least. Let's see if anyone can challenge Brody James. The gaps are very big at the moment. Fifth place being 1.2 seconds behind. The two drivers who haven't set a lap are Quattros and Simply Heron, the teammates. They still need to get a lap in with 2 minutes to go. Both now starting their laps on the second sector. So now everyone's improving their lap times. Chora Pro with a green first sector, Baduk with a green first sector. Gamer Pro abandons his lap, so he's gonna get one more, but he needs to improve. He's 7 tenths behind the lead. I'm sure he's looking for a better qualifying result. As Quattros and Simply Heron abandon their laps, and now are barely going to make it to the line to start the last lap. The last opportunity to not start from last. Chora Pro with 2 green sectors is approaching the end of the lap. His sector times are looking quite strong. He's not at Brody James' pace, but he's looking for a second place right now. And with a good last corner, I believe he will do so. Now rounds the final corner into the main straight and goes barely behind Devil Hunter. So Devil Hunter survives in second place, Chora Pro in third, and doesn't have time to do another lap, so Chora Pro will not improve his lap. Now Gamer Pro with a green first sector goes wide though. He's gonna start his lap now. Yoto with 2 green sectors approaching the end of his lap. He's currently in P7 and is probably looking to improve by a couple of tenths. That will allow him to jump at least up to P5. And as he comes to the line, he's going to set the second fastest lap with a purple last sector. Out of nowhere, Yoto improves a second on his previous lap time on the clutch. He's a very clutch driver and goes up to P2 ahead of Devil Hunter and Chora Pro. Devil Hunter can't improve 2 red sectors. Gamer Pro with a green sector. He's the only driver improving right now. She goes wide, so I believe this will remain as is. No one is improving their lap times. Quattros and Simply Heron still haven't set a lap, and they're looking to do that right now. So let's see if they can survive and not start from last. Quattros now closing towards the second sector line into the main straight. Simply Heron is right behind him. All of the top runners have completed their qualifying session. Only these two remain. Of course, they're going to set green sectors. They don't have a lap time to compare with, so we can't really know their pace up until they complete their lap. Quattro seems to be pushing, doesn't care that he doesn't have a lap. He's going all out. This is his final appearance in Formula Roblox. And that means that he's gonna have a good performance. He's gonna want a good performance here. Goes up to P6. Simply Heron just ahead of him. The two teammates occupy the 6th and 7th position on the grid. At least they managed to avoid last. It was gonna be hard for them to start from last, as everyone's now on the hards. So far in the previous 2 races in this track, hard medium strategy was the dominant one. Since the slipstream is so strong in this track, there is no point in risking an alternative strategy. Everyone's gonna follow each other's strategy. As the 5 red lights are out and we're underway, and Brody James secures pole position, is gonna head first into the first corner. Behind him, Devil Hunter and Yoto, 3 tenths behind. as Giotto runs wide, so that's going to increase. Chora Pro, Simply Heron, Gamer Pro overtaking Quattros at the start. Behind them, Batukt, Glitchy Glow, NX and Charles Leclerc Best round up the field. 11 drivers racing here today, and that means that every single one of them is gonna get points if they finish. As the grid is still very close into the first few corners, Giotto has overtaken Brody James, but they're now side by side again. Brody James re-overtakes. Devil Hunter is only 3 tenths behind with Slipstream that is going to close significantly during the straights. Chora Pro is 4 tenths behind, and Simply Heron are all within a second. Quattros, who has set a purple fast sector, is close behind. No big gaps forming yet. The biggest gap here being between NX and Glitchy Glow in 9th and 10th place, being 1.4 seconds. So now Giotto has gapped the field, and Brody James has made a mistake. He has now 1.7 seconds behind. A singular mistake drops him from the lead all the way down to P8. This seems like history repeating itself. Hamza Legend yesterday secured pole with a point 33.6, and he was the favorite to win at the beginning, but a few mistakes and some unfortunate ping errors and lag cost him the race, as he ended up falling behind. Brody James now is not far from such fate. He's in P8, 2.2 seconds behind the lead after only a single lap of racing. He's still in the fight, so we shouldn't count him out, but he's gonna have an uphill battle to climb as his teammate now is leading the race. Ahead of Chora Pro, Devil Hunter and Quattros, who Quattros now is dropping 1 second behind the top 3. There seems to be a little bit of a separation between the top 3 and the fight for P4. It is a second, so Quattros still has the slipstream as Giotto corner cuts, and that's gonna allow Quattros to climb back in with his slipstream. That is a very big mistake for the impact of this race. It does hurt the top 3 a lot because the people behind them are gonna close up now. It gives them a chance. As Giotto runs wide again, he is now in danger of being dropped by the leaders, 8 tenths behind. He's not too far removed yet, but can't afford any more mistakes. As Glitchy Glow has retired within the first 3 laps of the race, that leaves 10 runners. Now Giotto is 1.1 seconds behind. Devil Hunter and Chora Pro are running away. It's lap 3, anything can happen in the next 22 laps. But right now, they seem to be the only ones not making mistakes, and that is really paying off right now. As now Quattros has made a mistake. He was fighting for P3. He's now dropped behind Brody James in P8. 3 seconds behind the lead. Very costly here. The mistakes can drop you so far back since the field is so grouped together. The top 8 being within 3 seconds of each other. Those are very small gaps, and each mistake, each time you go wide, lose a little bit, a few tenths, it's gonna drop you a couple of positions each time, and that hurts your confidence. As now Giotto has fallen far, is catching up a little bit. Chora Pro is far back, Giotto runs very wide, and the group seems to be reconnected again. Simply Heron sets the fastest lap of the race, and he has got up to the top 3. But Duke now, the driver in danger, he is 7 tenths behind Simply Heron, who is the fastest man on track. As there's a big fight for P6 right now. They're not too far gone from Badukt, so you could call it a fight for P5 and even further ahead, as Simply Heron now is dropping a little bit, 8/10 from Yoto. All these drivers are so close within each other, and they're all gaining time towards the leaders because the leaders don't have any slipstream. That helps the pace of the back markers. As Simply Heron, who was closing up to the lead, makes a mistake, and now he's back into P8. Dropping from P4 all the way to P8 with a singular mistake. He pulled a Quattrus, and that means he's now the man who needs to push. As Yoto gets a purple second sector, he's got up the leaders. And now there's a 2-second gap between him and his teammate Badukt in P4. Now this is true separation. The gaps where the slipstream stops working is about 1.5 seconds. So the top three are about half a second clear of that zone. And that means they are able to pull away now if they start pushing. Yoto sets the fastest lap. And now the top three are side by side. Behind there is a massive battle for P5 now, for P4, as 4 drivers are separated by 0.3 of a second. And now Yoto takes the lead. He was further back 2 laps ago, he was 0.8 back. He was in danger. Now he has pulled through. He is leading this race. And now Badukt slowly dropping further behind, now 2.4 seconds behind third, 2.5. He doesn't have the pace to follow the leaders. As Brody James, who had pole position and dropped further back due to a mistake at the beginning, is slowly climbing up the leaderboard. He is now P5, just behind Badukt. Badukt doesn't seem to have the pace to push further ahead, but Brody James might have it. He was a pole sitter by over 1/10 from Yoto, so that means he is theoretically the fastest man on track. Now Yoto leading of Chora Pro and Devil Hunter falling 4/10 behind seconds, but catching up quickly due to the slipstream. Yeah, Brody James now has overtaken Badukt, and he's now into 4th. He seems to be recovering well. As Yoto now drops from 1st to 3rd into a singular sector, he has made a mistake probably, and that has cost him. He's now 5/10 behind the lead. Oh, as Yoto goes wide! What happened? He's gone, he's dead, his race is over. What happened to Yoto? No, he DNFs. A beautiful race pace from him goes to waste. The fastest lap as well was with him. He was one of the top 3 to chase for the victory here, but now that leaves Chora Pro and Devil Hunter fighting alone. That's truly a surprise. He seemed to lose control of his car and run straight into the off-road. I'm not sure what the cause would be, but that has cost him a probable podium finish. As now Brody James, who was coming back into this race, has now made a mistake and fallen back down to P7. Now overtakes How Gamer Pro for P6. And all these DNFs mean that FGR is going to score double points if they finish. They are 11 seconds behind the car ahead, and they seem to be on a fight on their own. But they're gonna score double points for their team, and they're in that Ford Constructor Championship fight where everyone's so close. that they might be able to jump someone if they get lucky. They are currently in P7 of the constructors, 8 points behind 4th. Now Chora Pro is pushing Devil Hunter to his limit. He has fallen 6 turns behind at the end of the straight. As Gamer Pro has made a mistake. He is the one far removed from the top 6 now. He falls down to P7, 3 seconds behind Brody James, who is still in the slipstream fight for P3. And that means he's probably gonna start losing more and more time now. As now Simply Heroin makes a mistake, drops from P4 for P3 now, all the way down to P6. And that means that this fight right here is for a podium. Quattro's the championship leader, is now into P3. Starting from P7, he has had a good race so far. Gap between the leaders is still stable, so Devil Hunter is not in danger of falling far back if he doesn't make a crucial mistake. And they're pulling away from the pack behind. Quattros is now 3.2 seconds behind Chora Pro. That used to be 2 seconds 3 laps ago. As now the gaps have widened a little bit, Simply Heroin has fallen a second behind Brody James. And Gamer Pro can't see them in the distance. He's 2 seconds behind instead of 3. That's all Gamer Pro can hope for at this point of the race. Quattro's now 3.7 seconds behind the lead. He is the fastest of the pack here, ahead of Paduk and Brody James constantly, but isn't quick enough to close the gap to the leaders. As Chora Pro is running away with his first position, he's looking for a victory. He's 8 tenths ahead of Devil Hunter in second. Amazing laps by Chora Pro, amazing pace. He has been very consistent, not making any mistakes, but pushing to the limits. He is truly a pro, as his name suggests. Let's see, he's now pulled over a second on Devil Hunter, and the next few corners are very tough on the steering angle. That means that the third gear is not gonna help Devil Hunter until the main straight. There's now 1 corner to go, and he's still a second back. Is Chora Pro able to put Devil Hunter out of his slipstream? He's not weaving down the straight, but Devil Hunter is not having the best of times here, only gaining a 10th in the straight so far. Make that 2 as they approach the braking zone. He's over a second back after the straight. The gap is slowly but surely increasing lap after lap. As now Simply Heron has made another mistake, I'm guessing, and he's fallen to a fight with Gamer Pro for P6. He's too far gone for the top 3 right now. As Devil Hunter finally gains some time to Chora Pro, he's now a little bit safer, gap being at 6 tenths, so Chora Pro finally making a small mistake, but he still has the big advantage. He has Devil Hunter on the ropes. And now Baruch has fallen a second behind Quattros and Brody James. He's struggling to follow them. He needs to pick up the pace if he wants to fight for that podium. As Charles Leclerc best has disconnected. Those double points I was talking about earlier are gone. That leaves his teammate running in P8 right now, 22 seconds behind the top of the field. We got 8 drivers remaining in this Grand Prix, but the fights are close. Tora Pro can't pull away from Devil Hunter. He runs wide again. Both of them run wide, but Devil Hunter starts closing in more. Now the gap at 0.4 of a second. Behind, Quattrus has started closing in towards the top. Now the gap is less than 3 seconds. 3 laps ago it was 3.7 seconds, so he has got a second towards the leaders, and Brody James has stuck with him, so these two are slowly closing the gap. Paduct couldn't follow, he's now 2 seconds behind Brody James and Quattrus, and is being chased by Simple Heron. Gamer Pro has dropped it again. He was fighting with Simple Heron a few laps ago. He's now 2 seconds behind him and running alone again in P7. As Devil Hunter has made a mistake, and that has allowed Chora Pro to pull a 1.7 second gap. That means no slipstream for Devil Hunter. And that means that he won't be getting dragged along anymore. He's now in danger by Brody James and Quattrus, who are coming behind him. This will help Chora Pro massively. He has been the fastest man on track this far. And now his competitors are not gonna benefit from his pace. Expect that gap between Chora Pro and Devil Hunter to slowly increase as it goes above 2 seconds now. And Brody James is within slipstream. As now Simple Heron has caught up Paduct. He was at the edge of slipstream a lap ago. Now he is clearly within it. And this seems to be a good fight for P5 in this race. Quattrus now has lost time towards Brody James. He's now a second back, probably a corner cut. As he runs wide again, he's now over a second behind. The gap's weirdly hovering between 1 and 2 seconds between the drivers. No one's really close to each other apart from that fight for P5. They are within distance, but if these drivers don't make a mistake, they're not gonna lose or gain positions. As Gamer Pro has now made another mistake, is now 5 seconds behind the next driver. And since he is so far back, and FGR racing car is over 25 seconds back, he has the freedom to experiment. As he is corner cutting every single corner now. Gamer producing 3 seconds in a single sector and saying, "Watch me, time to cook." Well, I'm not sure I'm trusting him in the kitchen after that. He goes into the pit stops. Gamer Bro boxes and is the first one to do so from the hards. What is he going to try? Is he going onto the mediums? I think it's a little bit too far. 12 laps are not optimal. Maybe he goes onto a 2-stop. And he does. He goes into the softs. He's going to try and get that fastest lap of the race. Still comes ahead of his competition. So he's going to have a lot of clean air to push into. As the gaps at the top are stable, nothing really changing this past lap. Everyone finding their pace And I'm curious to see now how much quicker is Gamer Pro going to be in this next few laps. He's gaining half a second in each corner. The drivers ahead don't even have slipstream, so they're not getting dragged along. And that means that this is clearly a battle between old hards and new softs. Gamer Pro has gained 1.5 seconds already in half a lap. He's gonna be moving very quickly. About 2.5 seconds a lap quicker, I believe, at his tires compared to his opponents. But he sure is going to have an advantage for the fastest lap of the race, as Simple Heron is still right behind Baduct, and Quattrus is now a little bit closer to Brody James, and Chora Pro is extending his lead slowly but surely. That gap rises from 2 to 2.7 seconds. He is looking for a victory here, and Devil Hunter cannot challenge him, as it seems. 3 seconds the gap now. Brody James is probably what is on Devil Hunter's mind right now. It should be his first priority, as Gamer Pro, unsurprisingly, goes fastest in the first sector with a 21.8 sector time. Let's see, can he set a good lap here? Devil Hunter losing time now and is under pressure by Brody James as Chora Pro has corner cuts, and the gap is now back under 2 seconds. He had the luxury of making a corner cut. He had been so fast earlier that he pulled a gap, and that mistake did not cost him, but he can't afford another one. His Gamer Pro now is heading towards the final chicane as Baduct tries the undercut. At the end of lap 14, he's into the box and he goes onto the mediums. So he's going to the end. Gamer Pro is gonna still come out behind him, or is he? He sets the fastest lap of the race, a 34.1. Beautiful lap by Gamer Pro. He has cooked indeed. And he is now 4 seconds behind Baduct. As now the leaders will need to respond to Baduct's undercut. Simply Heron makes an ugly corner cut, and that's gonna cost him over a second, 2 seconds in fact, and that gives Baduct the advantage against him. Now I expect the leaders to box at the end of this lap, or at least drivers like Quattrus, who would feel the danger as Quattrus corner cuts. 2 big corner cuts for the teammates here. Simply Heron and Quattrus both making ugly corner cuts and losing 2 seconds each. Baduct now might get the undercut on them. As Devil Hunter has been overtaken by Brody James, he's still within the slipstream. And they're all boxing. Chora Pro into the pits, Brody James, Devil Hunter, Quattrus. Simply Heron stays out, the only one to not have boxed, as long as with the FGR car of NX. Now let's see, where does Baduct fit in all of this? 1 lap older mediums, and is he going to be on the lead? No, he's not going to be on the lead, but he's not far removed from it. He's now up into P3. At least provisionally, Simple Heron still needs to box. Probably at the end of this lap, as Gamer Pro is going for another one. He needs the powers. The FGR car behind him boxes as well. He's gonna go for another lap. He has turned this into a qualifying session. Comes slowly out of the box. He's basically stopped Is he letting his opponent through here? He is stopped at the exit of the pit stops. He is preparing something, saying, I got problems. Is there a mechanical failure for Gamer Pro? Is he going to have to retire? He says his car is on fire. I can't see the flames from here. But he was cooking too hard, I believe. Too quick for this car. He couldn't do it. His car couldn't handle it. As Simple Heron now comes into the pits, and Chora Pro is now under pressure by Brother James. The gap is now 6.5 tenths. Baduk and Devil Hunter are fighting for P3. So that is a great comeback from Brody James. As now Gamer Pro comes out in the middle of the race leaders. So he needs to get out the way now. He's a lap further back. He needed to restart his engine, so he has lost a lot of time. Needs to let Quattros by as well. Preferably at the end of this sector. I would advise Gamer Pro to sit further behind. He's gonna be the fastest man here with the new tires. And I wouldn't risk a penalty if I was him. But it is his race. I don't think he cares about the time penalty right now. He has rejoined the race. Brody is now close to Chora Pro. Chora Pro has made some mistakes before boxing, and the gap had dropped to 1.8, and I believe he had a bad stop as well, because Brody James came right behind him after they exited the pit box, and that means he's now under pressure. Devil Hunter has pulled a gap from Baduk. There's one lap older tires have somehow proved too much for Baduk. He's now 1.6 seconds behind and might be under pressure by Quattros. As now Gamer Pro has started his lap. He's now heading towards the first sector, and it is a red. Perhaps his engine hasn't fully recovered since that mistake, or that issue rather, at the pit box exit. He's gonna get some slipstream. That is perhaps why he's doing this. Brody James is still stuck behind Chora Pro. Chora Pro making mistakes and allowing Brody James to come back into the fight. But he hasn't been overtaken yet. He still have this under control, even though the gap is now has been reduced to a tenth. Gamer Pro is gonna re-overtake Devil Hunter, and maybe he's gonna try to enter the lead lap again. Everyone here is on new tires, but new softs are clearly better than the new mediums. So he's gonna have the pace advantage for the next few laps. As Chora Pro has moved off his line and is now being overtaken by Brody James for the lead. As Gamer Pro says a 133.6, and I think he's gonna be happy with that. 2 purple sectors. He did have a red first sector, and in fact his first sector was at 21.8. I'm not sure he's gonna be happy with that sector time. Maybe he tries again. Doesn't have much to lose anyway. As now Baduk is, as I was gonna say, Baduk is under pressure by Quattros, but Quattros goes wide and loses 4 seconds in the corner after the sector 1 split. He's now so far back, and he might be under pressure from Simple Heron soon, and that probably gifts Baduk that P4 position. Devil Hunter is actually getting dragged along by Gamer Pro. I'm not sure this is legal because Gamer Pro is giving a slipstream to Devil Hunter. He's slowly catching up to the leaders. He is closing in it to the fight. So, as Gamer Pro tries the cut and DNFs, that cut was patched yesterday morning for that exact reason. And Gamer Pro had to find out the hard way. Rest in peace, he still has the fastest lap, but he's not gonna finish the race. So we'll see where that fastest lap goes. As now Chora Pro has re-overtaken Brody James, and Devil Hunter won't be getting dragged along anymore. As now Quattros has made another mistake and is now closely followed by Simple Heron. The fight between teammates for P5 is turning on. Simple Heron had made a couple of mistakes, corner cutting the inside of the corners leading towards the main straights, and that costs a lot of time. But Quattros has done the same on this stint. That has put them on the same level. As now Brody James overtakes Chora Pro, and Devil Hunter is still gaining. Somehow he's now 1.7 behind, 1.6. He needs a couple more tenths and he's gonna be within slipstream, and that puts him in the fight as well. He doesn't need much to go his way. He just needs to be focused, and he can do it himself. The gap is now 1.5 seconds, and he ran a little bit wide, and that costs him. So he's gonna fall further behind now, but Brody James has lost time as well. So Chora Pro seems to be the one pulling away here. And now Devil Hunter might get the slipstream of Brody James into the next straight. Behind Badukt is running alone. He is losing time though, so he's not safe yet from the drivers behind. He is on the oldest tires of everyone here. So he needs to focus up and not make many mistakes. He's gonna be naturally slower in this last few laps. Can't afford to lose any more time. He's risking his position. As now Chora Pro is 6 tenths ahead, and Brody James is not really following Chora Pro into the main straight. He's not getting the slipstream. So that means that Brody James is losing some precious tenths in that main straight. He's not taking advantage of his opportunities, as now Devil Hunter is a second behind Brody James. Now he's surely within slipstream. As Padukt begs Quattros for him not to overtake. He seems to realize the danger he is in. He's losing a lot of time this past few laps. Doesn't want to lose his position. As now Brody James is 7 tenths behind. Chora Pro has been the fastest driver throughout the entire race. This has been close due to Brody James not being far behind. He did get pole position for a reason. he seems to be the only one who is even close. Devil Hunter can't close the gap. With 3 laps to go after this one concludes, the situation is stable. And that means that Chora Pro is chasing a victory. Brody James again doesn't get the slipstream on the main straight. As he goes wide. And now Badukt is 1.5 seconds ahead of Quattrus. He is surely feeling it. As now Devil Hunter is now 8 tenths behind Brody James, and that means as now he's made a mistake and Chora Pro has made a mistake, he goes wide again, and now Brody James is within 4 tenths. And that means he's gonna have a chance to overtake in this next main straight. He goes wide now, so he gives a little bit of breathing room to Chora Pro. But now this is the third time from the end that we're gonna pass the main straight here, this straight. And the situation still not close enough for Brody James to overtake. He has closed in since the last lap. As has Quattrus now, he's a second behind Badukt. So the drivers seem to be getting closer to each other. Now Brody James has capitalized on a mistake. He's now a 10th behind Chora Pro. Devil Hunter is 1.3 from the lead with 3 laps to go. Now 2 laps to go. He goes wide, and can Brody James overtake? He had lost the lead ever since that first mistake on lap 2, and he's now re-overtaken Chora Pro for that P1 position. Devil Hunter is now 1.2 seconds behind. And Badukt is 4 tenths ahead of Quattrus. Quattrus runs wide, it's now 6 tenths. But he's gonna have to defend as Badukt goes wide. And that's gonna allow Quattrus to overtake. Disastrous mistake there for Badukt. It's gonna be tough to defend now. Or to re-overtake Quattrus, and Simple Heron is not that far back. He needs to stay composed or he's gonna lose that P5 as well. As now Devil Hunter is slowly inching the gap. He's now within a second. He hasn't been within a second of the lead since I believe the halfway of the race. But now he's there. And we are nearing the white flag. It would be an amazing snipe if Devil Hunter manages to overtake even one of these two drivers. He has 1 lap to do so. As now Chora Pro weaving the other way. Into the last lap we go. Round the first corner. Everyone goes wide. Except Devil Hunter. Devil Hunter gonna gain a little bit of time here. Against his rivals. Now into the first chicane. Chora Pro has a very beautiful line. And he pulls away from Brody James, who makes a mistake and is now under pressure from Devil Hunter. As he goes wide again, that's not helping his case. Chora Pro is managing to defend quite well right now. 1.2 seconds ahead of the competition. As the competition side by side into the big straight. One last time we're gonna cross here throughout this season. And what a way to end it. Brody James is a single 10th ahead of Devil Hunter. For P2, Chora Pro has pulled a gap. Brody James perhaps pushing a little bit too hard in this last lap. And is now risking to lose P2 as he has lost it in the splits. He's now behind. Chora Pro doesn't make mistakes. Or at least not big ones, and he has a corner to go. Can he get around safely? And he's done it. Jora Pro is gonna win this race. Devil Hunter is ahead of Brody James for P2, so Devil Hunter has managed to overtake. Behind them, Quatrus overtake has Baduk and Simple Heron are almost side by side. Can Simple Heron get it? He can't. So that is P5 Baduk, P6 for Simple Heron. Now NX still has about 50 seconds to go to reach the finish line. What a finish this was for the FRL Season 10 Championship. Congratulations to Chora Pro. I really deserved victory here. Brody James was perhaps the other man who had the pace today, but made mistakes at crucial parts of the race, at the beginning of the race and also at the end. So perhaps the most important stages. Chora Pro now claims his first victory after finishing 5th 2 rounds ago in New Jersey. That was his best career result so far, and now he's won a race. He's done it. Congratulations. First podium and first victory at the same time. Devil Hunter with that result is going to jump ahead of Amogus Imposter, and he's going to finish in P3 in the championship, behind Iron Bob. And Brody James, who was gonna beat Devil Hunter in the championship if he finished ahead, losing it on the last lap, and now finishing in P4 in the championship instead, losing out on a P3 in the last lap of the last race of the season. And I'm glad to say that this was the last race of this season. An amazing way to say goodbye, as FRL will see you all next time in Season 11. This has been Italy's Though, and I'd like to say goodbye to you. See you all next season.